All right, everyone. I wanted to reiterate my opinion with regards to the Teamsters non-endorsement the other day. Of course, them coming out, their Teamster leadership, saying they're not going to endorse a presidential candidate. This is the result of internal polling. Yeah, everyone knows it. I think they even acknowledged it. Most Teamsters union members support Donald Trump. It's a fairly lopsided number, by the way. It's a considerable gap. I guarantee you, I absolutely fucking guarantee you, that if their internal polling showed, oh, most Teamsters support Harris, they would have endorsed Kamala Harris. What they're doing right now is waffling, though. They're sweating nervously. Now, here's the problem for the Teamsters union leaders, if you can call them leaders at all. And I believe in the right to work. If you want to join a union, that's perfectly fine. If you're a union worker, I have no problem with you. But it should be voluntary. It's like in New York City. Try getting a cab medallion without joining the union. See how much it costs you. You're 20 years from now, you might have broken even. Maybe, if you're, cabbing, 20 hours a day, I suppose. The reason is this. They don't want to be seen supporting Donald Trump. And I think the leadership doesn't expect him to win. So they don't want to bet on the losing horse, so to speak. But they can't anger the actual union members. And it's become a little bit fucking conspicuous. This is obviously the reason why they're not making an endorsement. I think it's the first time in, 40 years they haven't endorsed somebody? Well, that's rather telling now, isn't it? They don't want to endorse Orange Man, but they don't want to piss off the majority of their actual union members by endorsing the person that they themselves don't support. So they simply say, shit, we're not going to endorse anyone. And then they quietly step back and hope that nobody notices. That's exactly what they're doing. They're being cowards, actually. This is, by the way, something that I discussed with Jessica Burbank, actually, on Break the Rules podcast. It's with Lev Polyakov. And what I said is, unions are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. If workers want to unionize and collectively bargain and overpay someone to go party with the executives in the actual factory and then lowball them, that's perfectly fine. It's just, it should be voluntary. There's a reason why union membership has been declining over time in the United States over the last few decades. It's because collective bargaining doesn't work, number one. And number two, in the case that you did get your victories, you've already gotten what you've wanted. Well, why do you need a union boss anymore? It makes absolutely no sense. You already got what you wanted. You can always negotiate for higher wages. What I believe the business landscape should generally be is just a meritocracy. If I was running a company, let's say that I'm a corporate CEO, I'm not going to micromanage the workers, but I am going to keep tabs on how efficient you are, how much money you probably have made for the company, and so forth. Hey, did you work overtime and stuff like that? If you are a good worker, I do not fucking care what your skin color is, how old you are. None of that matters. I don't give a shit about your educational background. Oh, you're at 200% efficiency compared to your coworkers. You get a promotion. Yes, you can have the raise. Here's your bonus, by the way. If you're doing a shitty job, I don't give a shit if you're my doppelganger. Oh yeah, we get along real fine. You look like me. You like the same music? That's great. You're the same age range as me, and we have good conversations and stuff over lunch or whatever. But you're not pulling your weight. You're at 75% efficiency. I'm sorry, but I'm not giving you a raise. Okay, here's your Christmas bonus. Okay, I'll give you that boon. But I'm not giving you a promotion because you're incompetent, quite clearly. That's the way that a business environment should work. It should be built on people's skills. One of the problems that plagues the efficiency of the workplace actually is that people are misplaced sometimes within their jobs. The janitor might be better at accounting than the accountant, and the accountant might be completely autistic and really good at cleaning things. But one of them got the degree, and so they're in the wrong job slots. One of them simply, because of their intelligence in the general sense, has a higher level job, although janitors actually don't get bad pay, by the way. I tried to be one once. I'll explain that in a minute. It was a funny story. But the other individual might be more naturally talented, but they couldn't put themselves through college or something like that. Again, I stand against central planning. I just wish that there was some sort of situation in which we could place people in jobs that, number one, they would generally enjoy, because then they'll tend to work better if they're in a job that they enjoy. Like, I work my ass off. That's because I love my job. If I was, like, I went for plant biology at UVM, and then figured out that it was half chemistry, actually, which was unfortunate. My general chem class didn't go over so well. I passed, but just barely passed. I mean, I would be lost in a lab. If I was working in a pharmaceutical lab or something like that, like counting pills, I mean, my talent would be wasted. None of the books that I've produced, hundreds of thousands of copies of them have sold. None of them would exist. It would have been a big problem. My mission would have been a complete loss. With the Teamsters, what you see is the dynamic between those that are moneyed and those that are making do. Most of the people in the Teamsters union, or any other major union, the working and middle class. These are average people with average salaries. They might have a little home, they might rent, whatever the case may be, but they're not going and eating filet mignon every night. But the leaders of these unions can eat filet mignon every night. And lobster, which used to be a prison food for the poor, actually, but now it's considered rich people food, which is hilarious because it tastes like shit, actually. Get crayfish. They're much better. Crawdads, crawfish, whatever the fuck you call them. I know there are different dialects. The rich run these unions. You're expecting them not to party hardy with the actual loyalists within that corporate structure. They're getting 6, sometimes 7 figures. These people are very wealthy. They're much more wealthy than the average union member. And so they live a different life experience than those union members. So it doesn't surprise me at all when I see that the Dems for Trump, and many union members are Democrats, but they crossed over in 2016 for Donald Trump. They liked his economic policies. This is going to be a problem for the Harris campaign, by the way, in places like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. The leadership is refusing to endorse her. They're completely strangulated because they realize, oh shit, most of our members support the other guy. Well, that's going to be a real big problem, because if we come out and endorse Harris, we're effectively ignoring our own union members. So we're simply just going to nullify the whole idea and not endorse anyone. It's a pile of horse shit. Basically, if they were going, by the way, supposedly unions are supposed to represent the workers, right? They take an internal poll. Donald Trump comes out well on top. Shouldn't they be forced to endorse Donald Trump? Well, we represent the wishes of our union members. Our union members have made their wish known about who they would prefer to be the next president of the United States. They're not even representing these people. The Teamsters aren't even representing the members of their own union. Does it surprise me? Absolutely not. The situation doesn't surprise me at all. That's the sad fact. I've debated this before, again, with Burbank. The idea that unions, because of this sort of dynamic, they should simply be voluntary. If a person doesn't want to be represented by a union boss who may be completely at odds with their own ideology, I don't see why they should be forced to pay in. If you want to pay in and get that collective bargaining going and you think that's beneficial, that's your choice to make. That's perfectly fine. That's about all. Peace out.